Hey everyone, happy almost 1 year anniversary on the channel. Woo! Now, apparently channels that do game reviews and gaming content in general are supposed to do videos that hype up and talk about games that are coming in the next year at the end of the current year, if you know what I'm saying. This year was crazy. I have to be completely honest and say that the amount of work that went into the channel as a whole by everyone was astronomical, sometimes incredibly tiring. But man, did we get some great games and great videos out of that effort. When I looked at next year's releases, I realized one thing. There's going to be a harrowing amount of games to cover. There are so many releases coming out in 2023 due to the COVID pushback. And oddly enough, I'm actually pumped for more than a few of them. I don't really get hyped for games. I've been burned too many times in the past to subscribe to that train of thought. If I do, it's really hard to review them objectively if they come out and aren't entirely what you got hyped for. A few games to me, like Cyberpunk 2077, for example, felt better for me than it did to others, as I just did not give into a single ounce of hype for it in the slightest. I played it at face value and that was good. I can't imagine having been so disappointed. That being said, I'm still a fanboy for certain titles and studios. Today we're going to go through my top 10 most anticipated titles for next year and cross our fingers that me talking about them and hyping them up doesn't jinx their launches. We're gonna go in reverse order too, just to make you give us more of that sweet, sweet watch time. Please don't skip to the end. Oh God, YouTube metrics are entirely based on watch time now, and that's so important. So just like mute it if you think it's annoying. Oh God. Hey, liking the video? Why don't you do us a favor and subscribe? We're trying to push a subscriber goal of 50,000 in 2023, and every single one helps. Don't forget to ring the bell too, since YouTube doesn't like to notify otherwise. Coming in at number 10 is Starfield. Starfield is definitely one of the most interesting choices on this list because I am not excited to play it because I think it'll be good, but because I think it'll be an absolute mess, and I am here for that. Bethesda has not had a good track record with game releases, but I will say that the sheer utter brokenness of Fallout 76 actually made it really fun to play because of how bad it truly was. Crazy enough, some of my highest viewed streams and best content comes from absolutely garbage tier Bethesda games, and I really can't wait to make content about Starfield in that capacity if it's bad. If it's good, then that's a win too, and I'll be shocked as I used to like Bethesda. But let's be honest, based on footage in the background and the footage in general for the game, is it going to be good? Probably not. Number 9, Diablo 4. Diablo needs no introduction for most people, but it's a dungeon crawling RPG made by Activision Blizzard where you fight the forces of hell to get fat loot and save mankind. I want Diablo 4 to be good. I loved Diablo 1 and 2 to an immense degree, especially the remastered Diablo 2, and some of my best childhood memories are of staying up way past when I was supposed to be going to bed, just playing Diablo 2 and trying to progress my barbarian. Diablo 3 to me was a complete disappointment. There were so many things wrong with it, from combat to the progression to the loot to the bugs and the real money auction house. It's just bleh. But surprisingly, so far, Diablo 4's combat and mechanics look amazing, and the game's visuals are what I expect Diablo 4 to be. It's dark, gore-filled, and looking more satisfying with each leak that occurs. I really don't want this to be bad, and I'm hoping for the best, but after Diablo Immortal, we'll just have to wait and see. Number 8, Wo Long. Let's face it, Team Ninja makes some banger games, and this one doesn't look like it's going to disappoint. It takes place in the Three Kingdoms era of China, where a player can run around, summon mythical beings, pick different classes, and slay monsters and demons. It genuinely looks like a solid experience from what has been shown so far, and I'm pumped. Number 7, Atomic Heart. This game straight up just looks like post-apocalyptic Russian BioShock. That sense alone should sell it for you, and if that doesn't, then the gameplay surely will. It's a first-person shooter set in the 50s era Soviet Union with crazy technology and bosses being a center point. It looks like you've got upgradable weapons and various things you could do with special powers, and it's going to be on loads of platforms. Mick Gordon is the composer for it, and that's freaking awesome, as pretty much everything he touches is elevated to new heights just from the music during combat. Whether or not it's actually good, again, we'll have to wait and see, as it does promise a lot, and sometimes these sort of things don't deliver. Number 6, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. FF7 Remake Part 1 was fantastic, and Rebirth is the second part to that game. It was initially called Part 2, but was renamed for obvious reasons of the first title sucking, and people are incredibly hyped for it. I loved the first part of the remake and enjoyed every moment of it. The characters, dialogue, combat, all of it was just superb, and it looks like Part 2 is really going to open up the game. The whole concept of being able to play the rest of the open world and do so much that's remaining makes me hyped. I just hope they don't cut corners and they actually add all the places, locations, and content from the original game, but in the remade format. Here's to hoping, because dang, it's looking fire so far. Number 5, Armored Core 6: The Fires of Rubicon. I love Armored Core. It's a game series about building mechs and using them to fight other mechs, and that's about it. Story generally involves a dying planet or world or continent where this is a way of life, and some of my best childhood memories come from playing Armored Core 4 specifically. FromSoft in one announcement made millions of Armored Core fans, with so many people hyped for a series they've never heard of or played. They made it a serious point to say that it will not be like their previous titles, and I'm glad. I want this to be like the old games, just way improved and with way more budget. And what I mean by previous titles is like Elden Ring and Dark Souls. I will be playing the crap out of this game when it launches, and you should definitely look forward to it too. Number 4, Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. I took a long time to play Breath of the Wild, and honestly, once I had played it, I regretted not playing it sooner. I took a long time to actually sit down and play Breath of the Wild, and honestly, once I had played it, I regretted not playing it sooner. It was a great title with amazing exploration and so much heart put into it. I enjoyed every moment that it gave me, especially while playing with the community over on Twitch. Twitch.tv/Delrith. Go follow. I played through my first time on Master Mode, start to finish, with no prior experience of the game, and I seriously hope for the same sort of option when the next game launches that continues the story in this series. It promises so much more than the first title, so I'm a bit worried about that given the fact that the Switch is an extremely dated console that struggled to run well even in the first game. It's also been delayed multiple times, probably because of Elden Ring, so we'll just have to wait and see if it's a great sequel, or if it does get held back by hardware, only time will tell. Number 3, Ark 2. Vin Diesel, baby! Nah, but seriously, Ark was one of the best survival games I've ever played that I currently have over 1,000 hours in. It's a game about taming dinosaurs, making sick technology, and fighting other players in massive servers with 60 people. You build bases, tame dinosaurs, and do all various sorts of things, and it also looked pretty dang good. Ark 2 promises more of what the first game had to offer, and that doesn't sound like a bad thing in the slightest. I really do hope they optimize this one a lot more than the first game's launch this time around, but honestly, I'm pumped either way because I know I'm going to have loads of fun with friends. Remember, dinosaurs are fast, but family is faster. Number 2, Baldur's Gate 3. Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 were fantastic games that a lot of us played in our childhood. They were great RPGs that ate up dozens of hours, and for a while it looked like we were never going to get a third one. Baldur's Gate 3 has been picked up by Larian Studios, the company that made Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, and it's been in early access for quite some time. Act 1 is currently available, and it is fantastic, so the thought of having all the other acts with no level cap sounds amazing. Every choice has been thought of, every single option weighed, and the early access genuinely feels like playing a tabletop with friends where you could do whatever you want whenever you want. They thought of everything. You can also do the entire thing co-op, which is sweet, and you'll bet I'll be doing it with friends when it launches in the beginning of 2023, so I'm hyped. And the number 1 most anticipated title for myself, me, Delrith, is Homeworld 3. Homeworld is a space RTS series that I have been a diehard fan of forever. It was my favorite series growing up, with Homeworld 2 being the best game I've ever played so far for me, and I cannot stress how excited I am for 3. I am actually a backer on their Kickstarter of one of the highest tiers possible, and I've been talking with Blackbird Interactive devs on and off about it through development. Homeworld 3 is going to be so much bigger, better, and expansive than any of the other previous titles to date, with massive multiplayer battles being possible and so much fun to be had. I mean, seriously, just look at some of these trailer clips with the dialogue between the commanders and the jet fighters and all the explosions effects and stuff. It's just so good. Gearbox went and rebuilt the original team that made Homeworld back from like 20 years ago, showing that they themselves are huge fans of the game series and want this to be a proper third installment. Everything shown is of the utmost detail and care and respect to the series. I do not personally think it will fail. I will definitely be doing content on it in some capacity or another, and all other things will be cleared off my table when it launches. Anyway, that's going to be it for my top 10. There's a ton of other games that I'm excited for that didn't make it to this list, which will probably rapidly fire off in a list in the video on screen right now. But these are personally what I want to play most in 2023. I genuinely want to know what your opinion is on these choices and what you personally are excited for, as there's so many titles and so many individual preferences that I'm sure there are things that will surprise me. Leave a comment down below, like the video, and share the video. Regardless of whether or not every single title that comes out is good, there's bound to be a lot of awesome ones in 2023, and it will most definitely be a good year for gaming. But yeah, I guess all that's left to say is until the next video, this is Delrith, and I'll be seeing ya. Bye.
Guys, I don't have a lot of time. If I take too long, then Del will realize that the video is going for too long, and he might actually look. He missed out on so many great games coming out next year, and he mentioned some games that, let's be honest, boring. Diablo 4. So real quick, here are some games he missed that I'm sneaking into the list. Number 1, Spider-Man 2. Oh my god, this looks so good. A game where you can hopefully jump back and forth between Peter Parker and Miles Morales is exciting. But then rumors that Venom will be playable? Yeah. If you don't have a PS5 yet, rob a bank or commit credit card fraud. It's time. The day before. This game's a sleeper. I'm excited, but I'm cautious. Hoping that it's like a mixture between Tarkov and DayZ, I'll definitely be playing this. Hogwarts Legacy? If you've ever been a fan of Harry Potter, your dreams have been answered. If this game is even close to the quality that Warner Brothers has been saying, this could be the first single-player game I sink 1,000 hours into. And then Dead Island 2. Now listen, development hell has been notorious for ruining games, but this looks so good! I love the first Dead Island, and I hope they don't try to compete with Dying Light, and instead just make a gory, funny, Shaun of the Dead-esque free-roam zombie game. Alright, that's all I've got time for. But don't fret, there are even more games, and we're super keen to play them with you. Dell's messaged me wondering where this video is. I gotta go. Bye!